What if I told you that a region famous for preserving the footprints of ancient humans was hiding a vast, fiery secret just a few kilometers beneath the surface? Well, this isn't some sci-fi plot. It's a real, groundbreaking study that basically used a planetary MRI to reveal an enormous, active magma world sleeping right under Western Turkey.
So let's set the scene. We're in the Kula volcanic province. Now, geologically speaking, this place is super young. Its most recent eruption happened just 4,700 years ago. And that eruption left behind this layer of volcanic ash that perfectly preserved the footprints of some of the area's earliest human inhabitants. Just an incredible window into our distant past.
But you know, that history brings up a really critical question for today. What's actually going on deep underground right now? For years, the plumbing system that feeds this volcano has been a total mystery. Is it dormant, or is something much, much bigger at play?
To get answers, scientists zoomed in on Kula. Now, on the surface, it seems pretty quiet, but the geology of the region was giving off some serious clues. The Earth's crust here is unusually thin, and there's a lot of heat flowing up from below. Both are classic signs that something significant could be hiding just out of sight.
So how do you see this hidden world? I mean, you can't just drill a hole miles deep. You need a way to scan the deep Earth. So researchers turned to this amazing geophysical method to build a 3D picture of the crust. It borrows the same basic idea that doctors use in an MRI. You scan what's inside without ever breaking the surface.
It's called magnetotellurics, or MT for short. And what it does is it listens to the Earth's own natural electromagnetic energy. Here's the simple way to think about it. Solid, cold rock resists electricity, but hot, molten magma, it acts like a conductor, letting that energy pass right through it with ease.
And check out the sheer scale of this operation. This wasn't just a couple of sensors. It was a massive DES grid of 105 stations spread out over a 60 by 60 kilometer area, just listening super intently to the Earth's whispers for days and days.
So, the whole thing boils down to this simple three-step process. First, you measure those natural energy fields. Second, you let a supercomputer crunch all those numbers to build a 3D map of what resists electricity and what doesn't. And third, you look for the hot spots, those zones of low resistance that basically scream, "Hey, molten rock over here."
All right, so after all that painstaking work, collecting all the data, running the models, the team was finally ready to see what they had found. They were about to generate the very first detailed map of the magma system hidden beneath Kula.
Slowly but surely, as the computer models finished their work, the data began to paint a picture. And let me tell you, it was not what anyone expected. This wasn't some small, dying system. It was something vast, interconnected, and very, very much alive.
Okay, here's the first piece of the puzzle they uncovered. This is a 2D slice, like a cross-section through the Earth's crust. Those cool blue colors, that's highly resistant solid rock. But that massive blob of red and orange, that is a huge area of extremely low resistance, the unmistakable signature of a giant body of partially molten rock.
But then, when they stitched all of those 2D slices together, this is what emerged. Wow. It wasn't just a single blob. It was a stunningly complex, interconnected system of magma reservoirs. You can actually see how the main magma bodies, shown in those bright colors, are spread out and linked together miles beneath the surface.
So just how big are we talking? Well, the primary reservoir they found stretches for about 75 kilometers. To put that in perspective, that's an underground world of molten rock running nearly the distance from London to Cambridge.
And the data confirms this thing is active. The low resistance indicates what's called a melt fraction of at least 6 to 8%. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but for geophysicists, that is robust proof of a significant body of mushy, partially molten magma sitting there in the mid-crust.
But the story gets even more interesting. The model showed this isn't just one giant, uniform tank of magma. No, it's a compartmentalized system, broken up into different segments and chambers, all of it shaped and controlled by the powerful tectonic forces of the region.
And this slide right here reveals the critical connection. On the left, you see the magma shape from above. On the right, that's a map of the region's geological faults. If you look at them side by side, the shapes match up. It's almost a perfect fit. The magma isn't just sitting there, it's being channeled by the existing cracks in the Earth's crust.
And this led the researchers to a really powerful conclusion. They state it directly. This is the first direct evidence that the magma storage under Kula is actually controlled by the region's fault lines. Tectonics and volcanism are working hand in hand.
So what does all this mean? I mean, a giant hidden magma world is fascinating stuff for sure, but it also raises a very important question. What's the potential hazard here?
Well, the 3D model didn't just show that main reservoir. It also revealed what scientists call diapirs. You can think of them as fingers of magma that are protruding upwards from the main body, reaching from the deep crust up towards the surface.
And just how close do they get? Some of these intrusions reach to within about 5 kilometers of the surface. On a geological scale, that is incredibly shallow. It puts this vast heat engine just a very short distance right beneath people's feet.
And let's not forget, this system has a history of action. Sure, the eruptions are infrequent, but they have happened again and again over millennia. And that last one, the Chuckalala event that made those famous footprints, that happened just 4,700 years ago. This is not some ancient, dead system.
So this is the crucial point, how this research has completely changed our understanding. Before this study, the best guess was that there might be a few small, isolated pockets of magma down there. Now we have a clear picture of a vast, interconnected, and fault-controlled reservoir system. It is a total paradigm shift.
So this final model really puts the entire story together. It all starts with hot material from the deep mantle rising up. That material then feeds this massive, complex magma storage system within the crust, which is then segmented and channeled by those regional fault lines with fingers of magma reaching up towards the surface.
It's a stunning discovery that completely rewrites the book on this entire volcanic region, and it leaves us with one last big thought. If a place like Kula can hide a secret this large, how many other supposedly quiet spots on our planet have a hidden, fiery world just waiting to be discovered?